Eric Wetherington here at New Heights Property Management. You may have heard that there is a new moratorium on evictions. The Center for Disease Control issued a ruling that took effect a few weeks ago that prohibits landlords from filing eviction for tenants for non-payment of rent if those tenants have signed the declaration form issued by the CDC stating that they're not able to pay rent due to some COVID-19 issues, or if they were to be evicted from their home, they would not have a place to live and become homeless. Now, we could get into a whole lot of discussion about how in the world the CDC or the Center for Disease Control has jurisdiction or authority to issue some kind of a moratorium, but that's not the purpose of my discussion today. There are some organizations that have instituted lawsuits and asking courts to review whether or not they have this authority. But the reality is that's the rule of law that we have to follow as it is today. So what that means is if you're a landlord and your tenant is not able to pay rent, you are prohibited from filing an eviction against them if the tenant provides you with the declaration signed by all the tenants in that property that, stating that they're not able to pay rent due to some COVID-19 issue. Now, does that mean that tenants can choose not to comply with other terms of the lease? No, that doesn't mean that. The order from the CDC specifically is for non-payment of rent. If you have a tenant that's causing damage to the property or they're not upholding other terms of the lease, you may be able to move forward with an eviction. But please know that here in the Charleston area, the courts have told us that if they get an eviction filing from a landlord, they are going to immediately send a letter to the tenant making the tenant aware of the CDC rule and providing the tenant with the documentation or the declaration that the tenant could sign and return to the court. If the tenant signs that declaration and returns it to the courts are obviously not going to allow that eviction to move forward. So that's how things are going here in the Charleston market right now with the new CDC moratorium on evictions. If you have any questions about your rental property or rental properties here in the Charleston area, feel free to reach out to us here at New Heights Property Management. We'd be happy to help you in any way that we can.